Welcome, welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate episode 17. And then there was Gencon. Tonight, we're going to be covering Gencon. We did not get the chance to go as my life was pretty busy and was not able to head down there for the weekend. But we had a lot of people we know that went down there. There seemed like there was a ton of games played. They had almost 128 players all 3 days for the Star Wars Limited tournaments. So that's exciting. So we're here to actually share some of the statistics that some people have pulled together, some stuff I kind of put together, and a few of the lists that have gone public. We apologize because we probably don't have all of the lists. We're doing this Sunday, obviously, so it's like crazy. You know, we have some of the information, but not all of it. As we kind of go through, if people have lists and you want to submit them to us, you're welcome to. We'll add them to the doc later, and we'll cover anything else that comes out that's really cool that we missed during this night's episode. We're also going to cover the set 3 spoilers because I guess FFG just says, here, have a brand new set, play with it a month, and I'm going to give you new spoilers for set 3. I don't know if that's the case, if that's always supposed to happen, but I'm very excited about a few of the things that's going to come out of that tonight. And if that wasn't enough, I'm going to force the guys to do set 3 way too early leader predictions for each of the different colors. All right. Bringing my co-hosts in. First, we got JJ. Welcome to the show, JJ. How are you tonight, sir?
Doing all right, man. I've been doing a lot of testing with a lot of the leaders here. I've been playing Mando Blue, which has been really, really rough to really get a good flow going with that particular leader. I tend to try to have a pretty good balance of like cheap units along with good like cheap upgrades that I can use. So that way you can take advantage of Mando's ability. Managed to keep the game going for very long, but in the end, it just feels like it loses a lot of steam. So it's been tough. Had a blast playing with a CAD green deck. That's been a lot of fun. Just doing it there. Definitely one of the funner like leaders I've been playing as of late. But yeah, it's been good.
Awesome. Also joining me on mic tonight is Alex, the bench warmer himself, the man with the cool beard. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing okay. I got to play a little bit of some SWU earlier today and out in Howl, and that was fun. Just played my Palp Green because I haven't really played that too much. And, you know, played against a bunch of really cool decks. It was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, well, hoping that this week we get some of the guys that went on to Gen Con, they get back and they're burnout of playing their tier 1 decks and they want to actually play something fun because I built a 100 deck. Just so you know, I built a 100 deck, or my son built a 100 deck for me, and that's what I'm going to be playing. Because I don't know, why not, right? Like, let's play something that's kind of cool. Hunter has some cool mechanics, and it's kind of like an excitement of what could be possibly happening in set 3. So, I don't know. I'm excited.
Just play both a fun and meta deck and play Palpatine, right?
Well, I play Palpatine all the time. Yeah. I play Palpatine all the time, and I don't know yet. I haven't decided. I know I signed up for one of the planetary qualifiers. That thankfully, unless Mike Gem and the KTOD guys are flying out to, it's hopefully far enough west that we'll only get a few of the people. And it'll be more Midwest people. So I get to play against people I've never played against, but it's pretty fun. I have my ticket to the Chicago one. There also is a discussion of there's an SSG Con. I don't know what it stands for, but it's the ones that have been doing all the 1 and 2Ks. And they're looking at putting one in Columbus in November. And there's a probability, I'm looking at it, a couple of the guys from Detroit mentioned it wasn't that far for us to go. So I'm looking at possibly going to that, depending on when they release tickets and what the cost is. Because I think that might be fun too. And they officially released the set date for set 3. So it's like the weekend that set 3 comes out or the weekend after set 3 comes out. I can't remember which. I'd have to look it up now. So I don't know. I kind of want to go to that just because it's going to be like a lot of fun, but I'm also teetering on going to PAX Unplugged as well. So I don't know. I haven't decided. But I think the Columbus one is cheaper. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, it would be.
So, other than that, I had a pretty relaxing weekend. It was my wife's birthday this weekend, so we got to do wife birthday things and she got some cool stuff, some antique stuff that we bought her, and we got pizza one night and saw some of my cousins I haven't seen in like 3 years. So that was kind of cool. Some of my cousins came into town, not for my wife's birthday, but for other things. And so that was kind of cool. Got to see some of my cousins. And then today I did nothing. I sat around in my PJs in the air conditioning and stared at the TV today. That was nice.
Nice.
I did play a few Care Bass games. There you go. All right. So with that being so, you guys want to do spoilers? Let's do spoilers first. Let's do the fun stuff first.
Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome to our Galactic Gazette segment. This is our spoilers segment, which I didn't think we'd be bringing back this fast, to be perfectly honest with you. I kind of thought that this would be something that we were not going to have to do for at least another month, but FFG just couldn't help themselves, and they decided to show off the Twilight of the Republic, the brand new set that will be coming out in November. Just crazy, right? Like, we haven't even been able to play with this set for very long. And just to think, like, in November, I think the 11th, they said, is when this comes out. Is it? No, maybe it's the 8th. It's the 8th. It comes out the 8th, I think. Sorry. So, crazy to think that. Here's the starter. So here's the starter pack. You can obviously see Ahsoka and Grievous are on the starter pack. They're going to have the pre-release kits again, and they'll obviously have their regular one. So now we know for a fact that we can't just go with the characters on here and just say the characters on here are going to be the leaders, because that's obviously wasn't true for the first one, but we will see. Here's some of the sleeve art. So as you can see, they got Obi-Wan. They got like the anime looking Ahsoka, Grievous that looks like he's got to poop himself, and a Maul that looks like he has 2 legs. So I'm a little sad that my Maul's got his legs, and I want my Maul without legs. That's what I want. But here's some of the mats. I guess GameGenic decided that they were going to do another mat with the spaces. So if you like that, there's going to be a new version of that. I don't think I need one, though I won't say that mat does kind of look cool. I don't know if we could tell who's on the other speeder bike over there, but. And then we got some battle droids shooting things, and the best one is the one with the droid getting shot in the chest. That's the best one because I could hear them dying in my head every time I look at this picture. And like I told my nephew, I was like, I think I'm gonna have to buy this. I think I'm gonna have to buy this mat just so that every time if we get battle droids in this set, spoilers for the future 5 minutes, but if we get battle droids in this set, I'm going to have to like I'm going to have to like a whole like little thing on my phone that plays the noises and like a little key app. So every time somebody kills one of my battle droids or I kill it, I'm going to hit a button and it's going to play the noise. It's going to annoy the hell out of people. People are going to hate that.
You should fold this mat in a particular way and keep it off to the side of a different mat. And then anytime any of you guys go to the discard file, you put it on the droid that's being shot.
That's good, actually.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Everyone will look at you like you're crazy, but it'd be funny.
It would be hilarious. Then we also have a new Yoda mat with a very human like face. I don't like this mat. I don't like the Yoda one. I don't know why. I really should like it, but I don't. I don't like that art. And then we got Maul, which again, we got Maul with 2 legs instead of no legs, but that's fine. I'll take the 2-leg Maul legs. Mat.
Yeah.
Those are not his cyborg legs.
Yeah, they have to be. Based on the time period, that has to be.
I don't think those are, though. Those don't look like cyborg legs to me.
That perspective is like not quite right. Right? The background compared to where like the angle he's walking at. It's like
because if you write it up, it looks like he's like hunching over.
Yeah. Which is fine, but like even that angle, that is like hunching super forward.
And maybe they are the legs.
Like Echo Base Walker vibes where it's just like this perspective is just wrong.
So,
they're cool.
So they're cool. I like them. They're also coming out with new soft crates, as you can see in the picture. I don't know why I put that picture in there, but I did. And then they gave us the names of the next 3 sets for next year. Jump to Lightspeed, Legends of the Force, and Secrets of Power. We could spend hours doing this, but I can tell you the Jump to Lightspeed, there's no way that is just like an all vehicle set, right? Like we can
It's
just
going to be a
roll that
vehicle
out,
heavy.
correct?
But I think we're gonna
It's not gonna be
get a Wedge
100%.
Antilles leader. We're gonna get a Poe Dameron leader. We'll probably get like all the squad leaders that are famous. You know, probably like an Akbar leader. You know, that's what I'm expecting for the Lightspeed pack.
Alex, what do you think?
I don't know, man. It could be pretty like vehicle based. It won't be like solely like vehicle, right? That'd be kind of weird. But I mean, these titles could just be nothing related to the set. They just thought it looks really cool, which is totally fair. Like, because Shadows of the Galaxy, that's not. I don't know. One, it doesn't tie in with like all the other Shadows of the Galaxy stuff, obviously. But two, it's just like okay, it's pretty metaphor of like overarching sequel stuff, but it doesn't really pertain too much to the cards in there.
Yeah. And Legends, I'm going to just say it now. There's no way Legends is just a bunch of legends from books that like. There's no way Disney's like,
But
oh
Tanner,
hey,
I want my what are their names? Kyle Katarn and my force using Corrin Horn.
yeah. Do you want your Mara Jade too? You can have some Mara Jade.
Sure,
there.
why not throw her in there? I remember her from 1.0.
Mm-hmm. Can I get my old school Thrawn then? Is that what I get?
I don't know what Legends of the Force will be. Do you think they'll go like the old Republic, right? The High Republic?
Yeah, we're gonna see Soul, right? We'll see Soul and what's her face?
I don't know, the KOTOR games.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards what you're saying, Alex, in that aspect, or maybe it's some of the newer offshoots like the Tales of the Jedi and the Sith one that came out, the Empire one. Like maybe it's those, but I would lean towards this is probably like an Old Republic, High Republic's type tie-in. And I mean, because High Republic's coming, that era that they doing books for has got to be coming to an end here pretty soon. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of media content, so people aren't. If they do all High Republic, no one's gonna know who it is. Like,
I mean, that's me every set anyway. So
okay, all right.
I mean, is it too soon to think that they'll include things from like the Acolyte in that?
No,
especially if it's coming at the end of next year.
That'll come out. The Legends will come out right at Gencon.
No, Secrets of Power. I mean,
oh, I don't know. No, I mean that's probably something they could do. I don't know.
Yeah, so the third one's called Secrets of Power. Who knows what that's going to have? I don't know. Maybe it's Sith based. That'd be kind of cool, I guess.
That would be pretty cool. Sith Empire or something like that.
Yeah, give me some Darth Bane, baby. I'll be playing that. Give me Darth Bane. That'll be the only character I play.
JJ,
all right.
What set do you think Star Killer's going to come out in? How deep do they have to go for
Legends.
you to get Star Killer?
I think Legends of the Force would be the one if they're going to do that, just mainly because it's from Legends, right?
You named our team after that, man. I don't know when. Like, I just know it's from the Force Unleashed video game.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Yep.
All right. Well, let's get on to some of the actual spoilers for tonight. They released officially what exploit means. Just so you know, exploit now officially. So now we know what Asajj Ventress does when Asajj comes out. They also are introducing tokens, is what they're calling them. So they're going to have token units, and they might be other tokens too. I'm guessing if we introduce token units, if not this set, but the next set, we're going to get some other tokens. That would be my assumption, which is like that'll be a whole new mechanic, obviously. So who wants to Hellfire tank and who wants to explain what exploit is?
Oh, me.
Okay.
It's cool.
All right, go baby.
So I got a Hellfire tank, which is an 8 cost, just ability unit. It's a 7/6. That has the keywords Separatist droid vehicle and tank. Glad they made the distinction, I guess, for vehicles and tanks. I don't think they did that for the smuggle one. Regardless, it's got exploit 2. Which, while playing this card, you can defeat up to 2 units you control. This card costs 2 less for each unit defeated this way, so that's what exploit does. the number that you're defeating is up to the number for exploit. So you could have like exploit 1, just kill 1 unit, maybe exploit 4, which would be silly.
Yeah, no, right.
So yeah, if you really want to just kill off 2 of your units, you can make this tank cost 4 for 7/6, which is really scary.
So yeah, that Hellfire
there we go.
tank. Yeah, that Hellfire tank. Alex, yeah, I think that is scary. I think that exploit is very interesting. I'll be honest. When they first announced it, before they announced or posted these tokens, I didn't understand how it was going to work. Like, we don't have enough units to defeat. Like, if you put out 3, let's just say you put out 3 units and you defeat 2 of them, you've wasted resources. And I don't know, Pelp defeats 1 unit a turn, and the only reason I like doing that is because I get to draw a card. Other than that, I don't think I want to defeat a bunch of units. But our next card, the Battle Droid Escort, talks about creating droid tokens, essentially. So, JJ, what does the Battle Droid Escort do?
Yeah, so we got the Battle Droid Escort. It comes in at a 3 cost with a villainy aspect only, coming in with a 1 attack, 1 defense. Doesn't seem like much until you consider that when it's played and when it's defeated, it creates a Battle Droid token, which you see on the far right here. That also comes in at a 1 attack, 1 defense for its stat line there. So it's a good way to kind of split a 2/2 into 2 separate cards there. So when you have different battle effects that can take effect for like different leaders, like let's say Vader, for instance, that he could essentially deal 1 damage to a unit, you can kind of force the damage out, like spread it out with these tokens there. It helps you at least gain with the Battle Droid Escort. If it happens to die to that effect, it allows you to essentially spawn another Battle Droid unit on there, which can be actually pretty good. You can help spread the line there. I am interested to see if down the line, if when they spoil future leaders, if they'll end up giving buffs to these droids, like giving them additional attack or additional like health for these particular token droids. To see how they play with that mechanic.
So I can tell you right now, I want the hyperspace version of this Battle Droid Escort immediately.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
So I think this is interesting too, right? Because you're putting this down, and then it gives you one of the Battle Droids, which you can see is just a 1/1 unit, right? And then it's going to give you a second one when it dies. So like. I probably play too much Palpatine, but you know what I think of when I think of this? I think of turn 2, Palpatine puts this down, I get a Battle Droid. If they don't kill it, next turn or at the end of the turn or the next turn, I'm popping that droid off and killing this thing and getting a second Battle Droid, and now I can use something that has exploit on it, Not the Hellfire tank, but I can use something else like a Saj or something like that.
I mean, honestly, they're gonna eventually probably release tactical droids to buff them as well, right?
Yes, give me a Kalani. Give me a Kalani.
Yeah, Kraken, Kalani, TA-97.
But anyway, let's keep moving because I don't want to be here forever. I like it that we have a separatist keyword. This one has a droid and trooper keyword, so we're going to be very interesting. We're going to be able to mix and match trooper and droid decks now, and yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of excited by this new revelation. The next one we have, we went ahead and introduced. I wanted to do the 2 tokens they told us about so that we can just like get it out of the way before we even get to the leaders and stuff like that. We have a 33. It's a 332, whatever. I don't know, 330-second stalwart. And it's a 1/1 cost clone. It has a coordinate, which this is a new term we have not had. And coordinate is this unit gets +1/+1 when you control 3 or more units. Now, I don't know how we're going to get a bunch of clone troopers out right away, but the clone trooper comes in at a 2/2, and it is also a trooper. And it has a Republic keyword, which is a new keyword too.
Yeah, I mean, since we're also going to see clone trooper tokens as well, This can definitely be something that can come out very easily. We'll see cards like Captain Rex. That's coming up next. That will help you create more clone troopers like that. I'm pretty sure we'll see more units that'll just create that. This just essentially helps buffs this single unit while you have 3 or more there. For what it can do, I mean, if you end up triggering the ability, it makes it a 2/3, which isn't bad for 1 cost. It just requires a lot of setup in order for you to get to that there. We got the 6 cost here, Captain Rex, that comes in with a command and heroic aspect here. Comes in with 4 attack, 4 health, and when played, it creates 2 clone trooper tokens. I gotta say I'm a little mixed on this, right? Because typically a 6 cost that we've seen in the past comes with a little bit better stat line, right? Yeah, it does create 2 clone trooper tokens that come in with 2 health and 2 attack, which essentially buffs this to an 8/8, really. But the unit itself, it feels weak for 6 costs. So,
I mean, it's an instant coordinate, right? Because
yeah, that's true.
Units. So
it is an instant coordinate, and it does sync well with one of the leaders that we're going to see here in a bit too. But it feels like it's a niche card that just fits with one particular commander that can really benefit from it. Especially if you coming in with like a blank slate, right? There's no units out on the board, and then you play this, like you do have a little bit of offense right there, but usually by the time you're able to play this particular card, it's your opponent tends to have better units available at that cost that can come in and play it.
It is also worth noting that Captain Rex, the 332nd Stalwart, and the Battle Droid Escort are all starter pack rarities.
Yeah.
So they are kind of designed to go with the leaders for those packs. Also, is anyone else annoyed that this says Captain Rex correctly, not Caption Rex, like an X-Men? That was my
done by the same company too.
All right, well, let's move on to the leaders. Alex, which one do you want to go over?
Oh, I'll take Ahsoka because I know you guys are going to want Grievous. So I'll take Ahsoka. She's a red-white Force Jedi Republic leader. She comes out on a 5. Her normal ability is Coordinate. As an action, you can exhaust. Attack with the unit. It gains +1/+0 for this attack. So they gain that ability if you control 3 more units, and that does include them. And then when Ahsoka comes out, again on 5, she's a 3/6, which is pretty nice to have that 6 health there. And then she's got Coordinate. This unit gets +2/+0. So if you have 2 other units out there with Ahsoka, she's a 5/6 for 5.
So if you can figure out how to cheat out Captain Rex somehow, I don't know how.
Yeah.
If you figure out how to cheat out Captain Rex, you can then play her and you immediately get the 5/6.
I mean, there's a wealth of 1-drops in 5.
I mean, you do what, a resupply on turn 4, and then on turn 5 you play Rex and then deploy Ahsoka, right?
Yeah, but now you're waiting a whole turn to deploy her. I don't know if that's good.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is kind of cool that, like, the optimal, I guess, way, if you want your units to live to get to Ahsoka, is like to kill off her buddies and then start attacking her because she does less damage. I like that design space.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Grievous. JJ, what is Grievous?
I gotta say, I'm very glad that he is a cunning aspect, yellow, because he's a coward, so hence he's yellow. So General Grievous comes in with the cunning and villainy aspect. And he reads action, exhaust this card to give a droid a unit sentinel for this phase. He deploys on 6 resources, and then his ground or leader unit card reads with 4 attacks and 8 defense. Reads on attack, you may give a droid a +1 and a sentinel for this phase, which is actually really great, right? Especially if you manage to put out some of those droid tokens. you can easily make that cheap 1/1 droid token a sentinel, and it basically just absorbs an attack for that turn there. So you're adding that additional buffer. Doesn't really cost you too much, especially if you have enough units that can deploy those tokens very easily. Grievous always has a buffer that you have to go through in order for you to actually get to him. So it's definitely a card that we're going to see a lot there. It is going to be really powerful with stuff like Waylay and Cunning and stuff that will help benefit your keeping your opponent's numbers low, or the number of attacks exhausted, so that we can really take advantage of the Sentinel. So yeah, we'll definitely see a lot of Grievous. I think it's really strong.
But what if I just took like a Hailfire tank and then gave it +1 attack and made it a Sentinel? So it's an 8/6 Sentinel.
I mean, that's pretty good too.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the starter deck. I guess the Hailfire tank, it might come in his deck. It might not. It's not a starter exclusive.
Yeah.
But that would be kind of silly, especially if you had a bunch of units out, right? Just drop that thing for 4, and then Grievous gets it Sentinel and +1.
Yeah.
Also, 4/8 stat line on a 6 is pretty solid. That's a lot of attack.
Yeah, I like that. I like it a lot for him, and I like that he comes out on 6 and not on 7, because it means that he'll be more useful than having to wait a whole nother turn for him. So
yeah.
All right, the next one we have is General's Guardian. I don't know why. I'm assuming we're going to get another droid then, if this is a General's Guardian. I mean, we know what that droid is, right?
Mm-hmm. It's a Magna
Alex,
Guard.
Maybe Alex doesn't, but
What do you mean?
the picture on that is
Oh,
a
the
Magna
Guard
Guard
droid thing.
Yeah. So I don't know why it
that
doesn't
makes
just say Magna Guard on there. But
I gotta say though, I am kind of bummed out that this is a green aspect instead of a blue, because the Electro staff is blue, right? And it would make sense for this unit to equip the staff, right? So yeah.
Man, that works really well. It's also a starter pack exclusive.
Yeah.
For Grievous, which is interesting. So presumably his deck's going to be yellow-green. And then Ahsoka's will be green-red because Captain Rex is also green. But man, giving him Sentinel and every time he's attacked, he creates a battle droid token is kind of silly. I mean, it makes sense because that's like what their whole shtick is, right? So
yeah. The question I have is, does it have? It doesn't say it has to be attacked from another unit. So the question is are they going to they're going to have to clarify the attack, and because otherwise, can you imagine what this could mean? Just pinging it.
What do you mean? What would they have to clarify?
Well, if it says attack, right?
When this unit's attacked, yeah.
Yeah. So is it not attacked when you do damage to it from other things? Not at all. No? Okay.
You're not attacking it. No. You have to attack with a unit to another unit.
Okay. Well, hopefully they clarify that, because otherwise that seems like it would be something that maybe could be broken. I don't know.
Yeah. What I love about this though is that if you can manage to give it a steady stream of shields, like this unit can absolutely just be really good. It's like give it Sentinel with Grievous and manage to give it a shield every turn that you can. You're creating a battle droid every time. It's could be really, really good. I like it.
Yeah, it seems solid enough.
Yeah, it's a 4 for 4. So
you have to give it Sentinel for its ability to even do anything, basically. So if you don't, then your opponent doesn't really have to answer it unless it just open fire, right? We'll just kill it for nothing. So,
yeah.
It seems fine, but again, it like works really well with Grievous, and we'll see if it works with a lot of other stuff.
All right, Alex, which one do you want next?
Oh, I'll just do the Coruscant Guard. I'll just go in order. So it's a 2-cost, just green unit. It's got 3 attack, 2 health. It's a Republic clone and trooper. It has Coordinate Ambush. So if you have 3 or more units, which includes this itself, when you play it, you can give it ambush.
So does the Boba Fett guy give it like double because it's 2 keywords? That would be cool if it could.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's a bunch of other cards that have double keywords, and it's still only just 1.
I know. I'm just teasing. It just would be funny.
I mean, it seems like a solid enough. If you, it's a cheap 3 attack ambush. If you have a decent field, it's interesting that it is not heroic. It's just neutral, right? So you can actually have that in like a battle droid kind of deck. It doesn't have a droid aspect, but you're probably more likely to have more battle droids, more units on your side if you're in the villainy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, I can see this becoming a really welcome addition to my Tarkin deck. You have General Tag that helps buff trooper units. That could definitely be really good. You don't necessarily get the ability for Tarkin to buff it with the experience, but if you have enough cheap units on there, having Tag in your deck can definitely help buff this trooper out there, and you can pretty easily have 3 units on the board, and this could definitely help at least put some pressure on your opponent for cheap.
Yeah, I think it's funny because too, if you think about it, because I mean, the funny thing is you have Coruscant Guard is, like you said, neutral, and the idea behind the whole, it could go in a villain deck if you want it to, because Clone Troopers technically became villains after Order 66. So I wonder if we're gonna get an Order 66 card. I don't know.
Oh man, that'd be great. An event.
All right, JJ, what does Anakin do?
All right, so we got Anakin Skywalker coming in as 5 cost, red and heroic aspect. He comes in with 6 attacks, 6 health. Reads coordinate on attack, draw a card, and he has the Force, Jedi, and Republic keywords on there as well. So that's a really good deck to include with Ahsoka and all those little Force abilities. Could be very good if you have a squadron of clones already there, especially with like Rex, who can already deploy 2 clone troopers. This helps you draw more cards into your hand. Does play very well into the aggressive play style that Red has, and allows you to probably reinforce your line with more clone troopers as you're drawing them there. Definitely is going to be a staple for Republic based decks.
Yeah, cool. Red heroes get another 6/6 for 5 that they can ECL out in the Sabine deck.
Yeah, or put it in a young Han deck, right? Just damage them out and bring them out, and then like ambush.
Well, you can't ambush and bring them out with Han's ability cheaper.
No, with the ECL.
Also not a thing.
Yeah,
but it is kind of scary for just like you're at 4 and you drop a 6/4 unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the last one.
Pack. So that's like
everybody
has a free copy. Yep.
Everybody gets it. Everybody gets Anakin, which will mean that we're gonna get alt arts of this for the OP kits and stuff like that, right? So,
well, full border, right?
Yeah,
just hyperspace ones.
Yeah. So, last one we have is Separatist Commando. It is a Separatist droid trooper again. While you control another Separatist unit, this unit gains raid 2. Seems pretty good for 2 cost. It's just a decent 2 cost. I mean, it's just a 2 cost to begin with, right? 2/3. I think for 2 costs, like the other thing is just a bonus, right? So,
yep.
Like, yeah. I don't know. I'm glad this is in the starter deck as well, and not like some crazy rarity. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some fickle mercenaries. Give me some fickle mercenaries. So let's move on to our way too early predictions. So do we want to go last, Alex? Do you just want to go last?
Sure. I know like 4 people from the prequels were good.
All right. So we'll do the villainy faction first. And so essentially, we know that Grievous is yellow, black, and Ahsoka is red, white, but it doesn't really matter because typically they've been released in 18 liters. So we can base this on the fact that the probability is going to be 18 liters. So we have our blue factions. I'm going to go first. I'm going to put in here. Oh, let me edit this. Come on. There. Come on. Let me edit. All right. Dooku. That's my first pick.
That's what I was going to go with.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And you could do Dooku too, man. It's like it's probably the obvious one, right?
Yeah.
So you doing Dooku as well?
Yeah,
JJ?
I'm doing Dooku. Yeah, for sure.
All right. All right. So there you go. There we have it, folks. Dooku is the first blue one. My pick for the next one is Jango. Is my pick.
In blue.
That's an interesting pick.
In blue, yeah.
I was actually going to go with the Trade Federation Viceroy. I can't remember his name, but he's a Moon. I thought that he would be a interesting pick for a blue villainy.
Trade Federation Viceroy. Oh, you mean oh Christ! Now you're gonna ask me.
Racist Asian stereotype people from episode 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Newt Gunrich.
Yeah,
Yes.
Newt Gunray. Yeah, that's it.
I was close. I went with a politician.
I think that's how you spell it. I don't know if that's how you spell it or not, but
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
See, I was going to say that as well. But probably not for blue.
yeah.
I was going to say that for like yellow or something. So, geez, what villains exist? Pass. Let's go on to green. I'll figure it out later.
Okay. All right. Now we have our green in here. I'm going with Sheev Pelp.
Yeah,
But
that's definitely.
I don't know because we already have a green Pelp. Why would we get a second green Pelp? But I don't know. Sheev Pelp. That's kind of who I figured.
Well, I think a good mechanic for him would be that it's similar to like Kara that allows her to have all the Spectre units without paying the aspect penalty cost. I think that Sheev Palp villainy would allow you to have like Republic clone troopers in your deck without paying their aspect costs. Like I think that could be a variant for him. So that's also the person that I was going to pick has been number one there for green villainy. My number two for there, I was looking towards Admiral Trench, which is one of the spider-looking general that we see in the beginning of the Clone Wars series. I think that he would be a good candidate for green villainy.
I was also going to go with like Chancellor Palpatine.
Okay.
Man, I know the heroes a little bit more than I know the villains. So, what's your second pick for green villainy, Tanner?
If I have it my way, it's Darth Maul.
He's got to be red. I think he's got to be red.
For me, it'd be red.
Yeah.
Well,
We all thought that before. I think he's green. I actually decided I'm changing my Jango Fett. I think you're right. I don't think Jango Fett is blue. I'm gonna go back to my blue one because this is based on the fact that we have all these witches. I think it's Mother Talzin.
Talzin. Yeah.
I think we're getting Mother Talzin. That's who
That's
I think that's probably more or less a blue character than Jango Fett would be. So.
Yeah, Mother Talzin's
witches in Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
And
they're not
the
Sith.
Ahsoka show, the Ahsoka show just like made them canon like 100%, like even more canon than they were before. So,
and they are not Sith either. So that's what's interesting about them. So
yeah.
All right. So going on to red villainy.
Do you have another green one that you want, Alex, or no? Before we.
I'm still working. What, like,
okay,
is there, like, admirals? Like, what admirals exist?
I mean, you can also go with some of the tech droids, right? I think those are good
Or
ones to
Wolf
consider.
Yularen could
Oh,
become Wolf could
well,
be a villain one.
I think Wolf will probably be a heroic just because he's on the Republic side at the
Okay.
time. So I think he's more of a heroic.
And there's Aura Singh, Wat
Ooh, Aura Singh.
Tambor.
Aura Singh.
Yeah, I was thinking about like Aura at some point. Man, let's just go Aura for blue. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah,
And that
I was
kind
gonna
of makes
say blue.
sense.
Sticking
Yeah,
with
Aura
the
blue.
separatist faction from X-Wing.
Yeah, that's exactly why I thought it too. It's because of that.
Well, she's also like on the box itself, right? Like that is Aura on
Yes.
the Twilight Republic, right?
Yes.
Cool. Let's go. I have an idea. Let's do Asajj in yellow,
Yes.
other than New Gunray. I don't know, right? Like her card is yellow. And I was gonna go assume like Maul is also red. I just seem to think of green. Wat Tambor, like that was a big dude, right?
Wat's a really big one.
Let's put him in green.
What? Yeah, I was gonna say Wat is good for green. I think.
And then Django is my last red guy. And those are the entirety of the villains I know.
Zam Wessel, man. No.
No, I don't think we're gonna get a Zam. I don't think we're gonna get a Zam leader personally.
So my pick for red villainy, Jar Jar Binks, definitely. Nah.
Oh my god! All right, can we ban? You're banned from the show. You're out.
Yeah, definitely Maul was definitely my number one pick for red villainy. I actually think there's also room there for Savage Opress to make an appearance as well as his brother.
That'd be kind of cool and really stupid if like the red villainy leaders were just Maul and Savage. Because would you play that in Twin Sons, JJ? I know you would, even though it wouldn't be good.
Oh yeah, for real. Throwing every force card I can in there.
Because like his tattoo things are yellow, and then Maul would be red. Just make it really easy.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. No, I still keep Maul and Savage as my two reds. Yeah.
All right. Do you have another yellow one?
For yellow, I was definitely thinking Asajj is my number one on there. My number two would have been Cad. No, sorry, not Cad Bane. Golly, what's his name?
Soulless.
No. He's a bounty hunter. He's a recurrent bounty hunter that comes up on there. Oh my god, I can't remember his name. No.
Oh.
He went undercover with Obi-Wan in Clone Wars, and I can't remember his name off of his name. It's like Cardine or something like that, but I'll come back to that. I'll have to look it up the name.
Hey Tanner, who do you got for red or yellow?
Well, here's where I'm torn. I believe there's going to be a Wat, and in Destiny he was red. I'm just gonna move my Django here, and I'm just gonna put Django in yellow because it's just easier. Like I think
blue, turned red, now yellow.
Yeah, I think Django becomes a yellow one, because then it leaves me with my red back open again, and then I could put my Wat in here. And I don't know. Part of me says the reason I think it should be different is because I don't think they're gonna put the same color. Like I don't think we're gonna get Maul and Savage in the same color. Like I just don't think that happens. And so like you can't put Wat as yellow because Wat is technically like that, like very close-ish, right, to your Grievous character. And so I feel Wat is actually my red pick. That's where I would go with that.
So I found the name. It's Moralo Ibal. That's the
Moralo.
Yeah, that's the bounty.
Yeah, he's the one that with the Scooby-Doo right off the side of the board. Next wing pop up on the other side.
How do you spell it?
Morale and then O and then
okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Like this?
Yeah.
With the O at the end. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I don't know. So you're down to me as the last ones for villainy. You're telling me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now you're making me dig through history here. I want to say Anakin, but that would be a stupid pick, right? I think I spelled Sheev wrong.
Probably
too.
not for villain, right?
Yeah, probably not for villain, no.
DFS 311.
No, it's not going to be DFS 311. Come on. We could put baby Boba Fett in here too. Do we just go for like 3 for 3 sets?
No,
do we just say, we're going to have another Boba Fett?
You haven't mentioned Dirge. Dirge is definitely another prominent villain. Like
Dirge is
really
cool looking.
Yeah.
But do you think we're going to get him? Because he's not really in Clone Wars, though, right?
He was in the earliest animation one, the one before they did the CGs.
All right, that's okay. Fine. That's probably fair.
I know that one.
I mean, because like the other thing is what about Adigalia or whatever? Like whatever Adigali, is she the one that converted? Who's the one that converted? It's not Adi. Who's the one that converted at the very end? She's in the Tales. Barriss. It's like we haven't talked about Barriss. Barriss is really popular in it. You know, like
she could be yellow, definitely.
And then the next question is do we have one where you know, like, and this is where I almost feel that this Sheev Palpatine is incorrect. Like, I really don't feel that. Now that the longer we talk about this, like, how are we going to get that? I'm going to go off the wall, and I can't remember his name, so you're going to have to help me with this. But what was the bug leader from Geonosis? Sunfac. Is it Sunfac?
Sunfac.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was he actually the leader, or was that just like
I don't remember
random ass pull they did?
I think he was the leader.
There is Geonosian episodes where like they're
You're gonna
pretty
give
popular.
people like PTSD with Sunfac.
I'm putting it in here. I'm sure it's wrong. Like I can't imagine that this is correct, but I feel the need. I feel the heavy need to put this in there.
Sunfac might be a leader in like set 14, man. You never know.
Bureaucrat. That's that.
Okay, so who's
love me those attacks, man.
Who's all the Geonosians then? JJ, if it's not Sunfac, who's the leader of the Geonosians?
Isn't that just like Wat Tambor? Didn't he just like kind of control those dudes?
So I mean, just the notable pilot like fighters from the Geonosians would have been Bureaucrat or Kali Chertek or hell, even Dooku flew on an Nantex, but
the most fun ship to fly in.
That's about it. Yeah, there's also the Queen, but they never mention her name other than the Queen, and that's in Rebels. But yeah, that's about it as notable Geonosians, other than Click Clack in Rebels, which is a terrible name for Geonosian.
All right, so then I guess we're gonna pull Sunfac off there. I don't know. Some of me says there has to be some sort of a Geonosian leader in there.
You kill one Geonosian to spawn, right?
Yeah, but I guess it doesn't make any sense, right? So,
man, if there's a Sunfac unit in the game, I'm gonna terrorize Cody with that so much.
Does Cody even play the game?
Occasionally.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess if I don't get to put Sunfac on here, I do feel Savage is a possibility if they're going to go with the Mother Tells and thing. So I'll put Savage though in yellow. I don't think it's a red. I'm saying it's not red. And then I guess that leaves me with one red villain left.
You could go with the Night Sister that is united with Thrawn.
No, but she's not in Clone Wars. She's not in that.
Technically, yes, and per Tales of the Jedi, she is very much there.
That feels no.
It's a cop out, but she is there.
You feel like you're trying to set me up here. That's what I feel like. So I'm just gonna cheat, and I'm just gonna go with Newt Gunray because that's he was popular in Destiny, and maybe I'll get a mill factor. That way we can keep moving. All right, now we're on to Hero.
So for hero, I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is a definite choice for blue. That's just a leader that is very well known, obviously a prominent character and should be in the game there. The other person that I think should be in blue would be Yoda.
Well, taking all the easy ones.
Yeah, those were my two, man.
Is
Because
that
I'm
your
saving
blue?
Padme. Yeah.
No, stop it. Stop talking to me, for fuck's sake, JJ. Jesus. You get two. Now you're banned. Now you're banned until Alex gives us something or I something.
See, like I know these villain or like the heroes a little bit better for blue though. Yoda, I think would make sense because there's a lot of like healing, right? That's what Yoda does.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Yoda makes sense. I mean, like Obi-Wan makes sense, but I can also kind of see him in maybe another color.
Ki-Adi-Mundi.
I don't even know who that is, man.
It's the large forehead guy, white hair.
Oh, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees guy?
Yes, yeah, that guy.
Go Tanner. What's your choice?
I'm saying R2D2, baby.
Okay.
And I'm before you can say anything, I'm gonna say C3PO
In red?
in red.
He's yellow, bro. He's got to be yellow for sure.
Maybe. I'm just again. It's just Destiny flashbacks of like the heart attacking that we used to have.
This is when Destiny. They code him for the Sith language, right? That's how he gets the red eyes.
I mean, he does have a red arm eventually.
He does, and when you had that in Destiny, it was super amazing. That was like a really good card, actually, with him and R2D2. And
I would like to put Padme in green for what it's worth.
That's definitely my number one.
Would it be too obvious also to have like Bail Organa or Mon Mothma? Bail, I think, is more prequels, right?
I think it just depends on if what they're gonna do right going forward. Like, are they going to give us like a whole different section of, because we haven't done Bad Batch, right? And like, I know Bad Batch is not Clone Wars, but they are clones, and it is part of some of that, right? So are we gonna get like between the thing between it or not? I don't know. So all right, I'll go next then. I guess I'm gonna put Captain Rex in here.
Yeah, I think that was my other blue guy would be Captain Rex.
Did we lose JJ?
Nope. So
you mine as Caption Rex though.
Sure.
Autocorrect on and Havoc. Jeez. So for green,
it doesn't like it. Officially.
So for green, Padme definitely was my number one, and number two, just because Tarkin is the opposite of her. Mon Mothma deserves to have her own card as a leader. She's a very prominent leader in both the Rebellion and the New Republic, so she deserves to be a leader, definitely.
All right. I'm going to skip down to yellow, and I'm going to cheat again. And I'm going to say it was Satine, I think is how you say her.
Oh, yeah, Satine. That's a good one.
Yeah. And I also agree with you. I also believe Obi will be blue.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's put Caption Rex down to red and put Obi into blue. The more I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, Obi-Wan doesn't make any sense in yellow or red. But I also think the other red leader would be Anakin.
I hate saying Anakin. That should be an event card. Toss Sand at Anakin, defeat him immediately. So
you
for
were
my
the chosen one.
My
I better
red
get a
heroic,
card that says that too.
Yeah, for sure. My red heroic Anakin is definitely my number one choice for that. We already saw the leader or the ground unit version of him, so that's for sure got to be there. My other red unit that I would put in there, I'm gonna go for deep cut here. I'm actually gonna go with Dark Disciple. My gosh, his name escapes my name or escapes my head. The guy that can use the Force to read the past and stuff. He was in Dark Disciple with Asajj.
Oh my god, why are you it's Sen something or other, sir?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking
I'll come back
about.
to it, but yeah.
Google it. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So. All right. So my green pick is Yoda. I think Yoda's going to be green, personally. I don't know. Do you have any yellow picks, Alex?
Man, what are the Han Solo equivalents in the prequels?
No one. Thrawn. I mean, technically Thrawn, but Thrawn in his own book.
But he also wouldn't be like a hero, right?
No.
Go to
He was actually he was. He was. He's 100% a hero. Everybody just is perverting him now. He was definitely a hero to begin with when he first met Anakin way back before Palpatine. So
Kinlan Vos, that's the name.
how do you spell it?
Quinlan. Quinlan. And then V as in Victor, OS.
Yeah. Quinlan Vos.
Yeah. All right, so for yellow, this one's a little hard because I want to kind of involve like third parties that were involved, but I already have Padme on there as yellow. So I'm actually going to go with Bail Organa as a yellow heroic. I think that he can probably fit that role as cunning. And we'll probably get a lot of use out of him. And I am for real now saying Jar Jar Binks just because he's that janky.
I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too, but you never know, man.
No,
he showed up in Destiny, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
You say that with such disdain.
You have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. So I think here so I'm down to the last ones. I don't know if we get an Anakin. I guess we probably have to. Like logically, I'm guessing we have to get an Anakin, and we probably have to get a Padme. But see, like now I'm out of space, and so like now I feel dumb for saying R2D2 and C3PO because like they take up two spots because we haven't talked about Qui-Gon Jinn, we haven't talked about Mace. Like both of them are like super like important to the Clone Wars.
I was also thinking Qui-Gon for yellow, so I was just gonna go Qui-Gon and Satine because JJ's reaction made it seem like Satine's a distinct possibility.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
If we get an Obi-Wan, we get like a Satine. If I feel.
Well, wasn't he like a general, Obi-Wan and like Anakin? They're like generals.
Yeah.
So they're got leaders.
I'm gonna put Anakin in my yellow spot. Man, I don't want to do that. I want to get. Can Anakin be green? Do you think Anakin could be green? I just don't want to be like you guys and say Padme's, but logically, Padme's probably green.
Captain Antilles.
Nora.
No, none of those. Nope, none of those.
I tried.
I agree with you. Nora's a great character, but we didn't talk about Lumi. You know,
I considered Lumi, but
let's put
I don't know how much leader thing she did, and I'm not sure if she's a good leader if like her Padawan lady just like left and killed her, possibly.
Yeah. We have Adi. I don't know. We have Adi. We also have Hu Yang.
Oh yeah.
He was very big in the Clone Wars and
Akbar. In the prequels.
No.
Not as a leader, no.
I tried.
Yeah, we have Kit Fisto, right? Kit Fisto's in there. We talk about Kit Fisto. Kit Fisto was a horrible Destiny leader or Destiny character.
My boy Plo Koon.
Plo Koon easily could be in there, but I don't think Plo Koon gets a lot of like time. We didn't talk about fives. There's fives.
Oddball should be yellow.
Oddball should be a leader for every color.
You're not getting an oddball. That's not happening. That's nope. That's not going to happen.
He's in every faction with every color.
Who was the other admiral? There was another one that was like super popular.
For what, CIS or Republic?
No, for the Republic. I don't know. We didn't put Yularen on here either, and some of me wonders if Yularen would come out as, you know, especially because he plays a role in Rebels as well, right?
I was going to say Tarkin was also very prominent as well as a Republic leader. So
yeah, sure,
have a heroic.
Yeah, they just didn't have the same presence, right, in the show. I don't know. We're spending way too much time on this. This is our way too early predictions. We don't need to spend 80 years on it. So, all right. Well, there you go, folks. This is our way too early predictions. Maybe we'll get a hero pelp. That would be insanely hilarious if we got a hero pelp. Send your clone trooper to die. Get a free card. I don't know. Spend one resource to generate a clone trooper, then you may choose to kill it to draw a card. Could be a thing.
Man, spending resources to make clone troopers seem really busted.
Yeah.
When you deploy him, he deploys as Lord or Dark Sidious, and he takes over all the clone troopers and brings them over to his side.
No, it'd be cooler if when you deploy him, he goes to your opponent's side, and when you kill him, he goes to yours as like Sidious.
Make it so it's like a duel. It could be like a threefold card, right? We get a threefold card, like it's one side here, one side here, one side here.
And like Marvel Champions for like Ant-Man, they had like his like normal side, and then the other side was like Ant-Man small size, and then you open up the card itself and it's Giant Man. So
Yep, it is 100%.
Can't sleeve it. Don't know what you're gonna do, but it'd be funny.
You can sleeve it. You got to buy a special sleeve for it, Alex. And I actually have a special holder, so I don't have to sleeve it. I have a special holder that has a plastic slip cover that goes on the outside, and then you hit like a button and it changes it for you. Tell me you spent too much on Marvel Champions without telling me you spent too much on Marvel Champions. Because that's this guy. So, all right. I do love me some Marvel Champions, but let's not talk about Marvel Champions. Let's talk about more Unlimited. Why don't we kick off our Chaos of War segment, where we're going to go over statistics, the meta, kind of what happened at Gencon. All right, welcome back to our Chaos of War segment. Here we're going to be talking about Gen Con statistics. We're going to talk about some lists. We're going to talk about day 1, 2, and 3. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Some people got lucky and got to play all days. I'm telling you right now, my wife's birthday is on Sunday next year. So as soon as Gen Con tickets get released, I'm buying my Gen Con tickets for that weekend. And I'm going to Gen Con, and I'm leaving Saturday night to hang out with my wife on Sunday. So I'm getting Gen Con tickets for next year. So
I thought you were going with the complete opposite thing of like, yep, it's going to be Gen Con. I'm just going to tell her to just shove it on Sunday.
No. I'm not going to do that. No, because I think Gen Con is a possibility. It could be Worlds, and I don't think it's going to be. There's a possibility that they could hold Worlds at Gen Con. The amount of money they're bringing in, there's like always this possibility. I don't know what they're doing, but I know I'm getting the Gen Con tickets and then finding out what Worlds is. And I might, like, if for some reason Gen Con, like they aren't going to do something at Gen Con like that, and Worlds is like the month before and I have to travel twice, I might actually just go to the Worlds and then just like reduce my Gen Con ticket and actually just go for like a day or two. So with that being said, why don't we cover a little bit of statistics? So these are some of the numbers that were provided. We took give a shout out to, I think his name is Cody, and I'm so horrible with last names, so I apologize in advance. I think it's Kressman is how you say his last name, and or Kressman, maybe it's Kressman, but Cody put together, like, had people submit lists and different things. Somebody else took some of the statistics off of the websites and like kind of coded them into a spreadsheet. So I took some information, put it all together, and said, hey, let's look at some numbers. So I have two different things. We have total points, which essentially points are the one win. So you got 1 point per win. So overall, as a whole, we're looking at kind of the leader and the base that they played. There's a couple of question marks that were in there, and I didn't feel like doing enough research to take those out. So for now, they're just kind of in there. It was very hard, like, finding some of this information because there's not a good spot, FFG, to have all of this information related to. Contact us. We know how to help you with that. And anyway, so long story short is that we have some information. So I set it up by two different things. I essentially, if you made the top 25, it looked at it and said, okay, hey, in the top 25, this list was that. And if you take the average placement value, this is where it is at. So for example, Boba Yellow had 14 placings over the course of 3 days and the top 25. And if you took an average of all their placings, they came out in an average of 13th place. So obviously, for example, Kira ECL only had 3, and they came in on average at 9th place. Again, the other thing, the other side of the graph is the points. So Boba Yellow had 75 points of wins. And overall, as total percentages, they had almost 18% of the total wins were just Boba Yellow. So there's a lot of people, because there's a couple of people that from K2D that have been pushing the Boba Yellow very hardcore, right? That's been their deck. They're the one that created it. Bobby Sapphire ran that deck, and so like people were like, oh, Bobby Sapphire didn't do well, so therefore Boba Yellow's dead. Well, that's not true. Like, that's just like a very untrue statement. Sometimes you run into bad matchups. Sometimes people have new cards teched and you just aren't quite ready for some of the play fields. And so I just want to make sure we understand Boba Yellow is not gone. It just might not be the same menace to Green Sabine that it used to be. And I think that's the discussion point that we can have in a little bit. So as you look through it, Boba Yellow and Sabine ECL took almost so that's 18 and 16. What is that? I don't know what is that together. 18 and 16 is 34. 34% of the top 25 wins were Boba and Sabine. That's crazy, right? That's a lot. 34% of the meta is Boba Yellow and Sabine ECL specifically. I don't know if people are playing Sabine without ECL or not, but
That'd be kind of weird if they were playing like ECL or not ECL Sabine. Just
Yeah, I mean,
go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and the other part of it too, it kind of shows the effectiveness of aggressive play, right? These aggressive decks can get into the game fast. They can build up really fast and push in a lot of damage fast into your deck. And some of these leaders kind of lean towards to building up a little bit more in order for you to be effective down the road. And especially with Sabine, you're able to just get into your opponent's space really quick or completely wipe off your opponent's board as you need to prevent them from building up like really, really fast. So it just shows that particular archetype is number one, is cheap. The cards are readily available, easier to find, and it's still an effective strategy overall.
Yeah. And if you look at Sabine Yellow, that was the other popular Sabine. Sabine Yellow showed us that there is 5 and 16, 21. There's almost 22% of the field was just Sabine. So if you thought Sabine was going to go away, she's not. Like, she's going to be very prominent this set. And I think that's like, if you're talking about how do we beat it, how do you go through it, what can you do? Sabine, to be able, like, that's the deck, in my opinion. Like, that deck and the Boba Yellow deck are the two decks you have to be able to beat to have a viable deck. Your decks have to play into those if you want to compete in some of these higher level tournaments, because you're going to see them. Not everybody's going to run them. Han Blue, or Han 2 Blue, I guess they're calling it Han 2 Blue. That's crazy. Han 2 Blue's up there as well. Their average ranking was 14th place. They had 6 top 25 appearances, and they scored 7.5% of the meta.
That's typically Wookiees, right?
I'm not sure if
no.
it's like Wookiees. I think it's just Blue
Not
has
at
a lot
all.
of high health stuff, and like cheating out a turn
So it's more
earlier
like-
Luke is disgusting.
More like grit, right? Like grit units.
No.
No,
You'll
I
see
think
the
it's
you'll
just-
see the decks. They're Force decks, JJ.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They're not Wookiee decks. They're not what you and I have been playing. How about that?
Gotcha. Okay.
And yeah, and the chat makes a good point. You know, that's the other thing. Is control decks do play. You have 55-minute time limits. I'll be honest with you, even as a control player, I've only gone to time like 2 or 3 times in tournaments that I played in. But as a normal control player, I mean, we saw it on stream. The one day they had streams, there's a gentleman named George who's running a Hondo Blue deck, which congrats on Hondo Blue. I'm very excited by that. I love that Hondo Blue made top in one of the days. And if you think about it, Hondo Blue, there was a time where basically that game 3 went to time and they both got losses, and that player went 5-2 that day because of that. And that's the sad thing is, like, I think like in that specific day he had a higher chance of winning. He had a very bad, one of the games was very bad. The second game was almost all in his favor if you watch it. And then being able to not finish off that third game just is sad. Hondo Blue taking home 2 days worth of 5 wins each at almost like 2.5% of the field is hilarious. That's just funny. So we only had a Palpatine green showing, a Palpatine yellow, and a Palpatine red showing for one day, it looks like. So in each of the different days, they took home 6 and 5 wins. Boba Green not showing up in the top as much. Kira Green showing up at the top. Kira Red, there you go. Kira Red showing up at the top. One of those was somebody that we know from X-Wing named Crispy. Congrats, Crispy, on your 5-2 submarine run there. Getting up there. But yeah, Crispy loves the submarine runs. But he ran a Kira Red deck, and yeah, so like Kira's not only viable in green, it seems. Kira is viable also in red. Anything else from these numbers or these statistics that you wanted to kind of talk about, or do you want to move on to the individual days?
For me, it's kind of a minor stat, but Krennic Green coming in is also pretty nice to see amongst some of the better decks that are in there. I do like to see leaders that we don't hear from much, but Krennic Green definitely is a deck that I definitely want to try out. So.
Maybe you guys don't have Krennic Green players around you.
Yeah, we had plenty of them around me. So
nice.
Yeah,
I like Krennic a lot.
Krennic was very big in set 1 for us. So I didn't play him. I didn't like Krennic. I don't like Krennic's playability personally. But if I want to play a control, I'll just play Pelp, right? All right. Anything else? Or Alex, sorry, I skipped you. Did you have anything else notable in here?
No, let's get on to the next stuff. Let's get on to the individual decks.
So, all right, so we're gonna go Thursday first. So here is your lineup for Thursday. As you can see, there's some of the question marks in here. People are welcome to tell us who they are. We could fix this. But essentially, Han 1 yellow. The guy that's been running Han yellow came to Gencon, went 7-0 day 1. People like, I think that deck has to be considered like a serious deck, right? Like, we have to actually say that that's a decently serious deck at this point. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it wasn't bad in set 1, and it only got significantly better now. So,
and then you can see there's your Krennic JJ going in there, coming in 6-1. We got some Boba yellow, Sabine yellow, 2 Sabine yellows. One of those Steve Cozenart, that's a local of mine, or used to be a local of mine. He decided to move away. His wife got a new job, so he moved away. Han blues in there. Got some Tarkin yellow, and then we see some Kira, some more Sabine, like, and there's our Palp Green player right there, Scott Egan. we move on to I guess here is the first place deck for the winner of Gen Con. I'm just going to deviate to Alex. Alex, is there anything new in here outside of, I don't remember him having one to change a heart in there. Is there anything else that's really new in here?
Well, there's the cartel turncoats and jetpacks, and only one syndicate lackey. But like it's pretty similar to the Hun yellows. You got double hotshot, double cartel turncoat, double Leia, double spark. So I guess you're a little bit less on the spark, but the other one's on the sideboard. Triple L3, which is kind of interesting. Just one jetpack, hopefully for Han, probably not though. Triple Spy Strike, triple Ezra, triple 3-cost Falcon, triple Bodhi, triple Waylay, which is interesting. I mean, I guess it makes sense, Waylay over like spare the target, right? You're banking on maybe your opponent's not playing bounty cards in order to bounce your own units back to your hand, because spare the target can't bounce it to your own hand. It's only enemy units. So that's probably the choice for Waylay over spare the target. You got like triple DJ, triple tack, triple conning, triple Gamorrean guards, double Kira, triple Cantina bouncer, just one syndicate lackey, one change of heart, double of the 6-cost Falcon, and triple Han. You got a double Tobias Beckett in the sideboard, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, because you can't really smuggle it, right? Without paying.
Right, you're not
7.
smuggling it. So it's interesting that like they're going more for more control with the exhaust. Probably also why they have a little bit more non-units that you than a typical mono yellow.
Yeah. And there also looks like they're not those turncoats are new. Those were not in there, I don't think, the first time. I don't remember those being in there. Maybe they were.
Some decks have them, some don't. It really kind of depends on how much you value space presence.
Yeah, I feel it's really valuable for this type of a deck. I also like that there's 2 Leias, thank God. And I wonder if the L337 is just kind of like the I could bring a unit in and it comes in shielded, so it's hard to take this specific unit down, so I can swing twice with it. And if I get a surprise strike the next turn, it's not like a horrible play to be able to swing into base for 5. And
it's like a technically better crafty smuggler.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of a bonus if they happen to have like capture things.
Yeah. Which is not, we didn't see any Jabba show up at the top, right? So, and I don't think any of the other one we didn't see, I don't know, was Bosk not up there? Bosk was in there. I know Bosk took some stuff. But
yeah, they
anyway.
have Green Bosk, UCL Bosk at 10 points. So
there you go. Okay. I think I skipped over that because that was another kind of a little bit of a surprise. I don't feel it's a surprise. I thought Bosk was, I think when we did our rankings, we rated Bosk like on that borderline for a not. I like this list. I notice they're not obviously worried too much about control, like hard control decks.
Yep.
So this list goes, I don't care.
Palpatine usually does very well against this deck, regardless of the Bodhies and the Sparkler Bellions and the DJs and whatnot. Or at least mine does. I'm not sure if you've had other experiences against like a mono yellow Han, if like DJs have messed you up or tech or something.
DJs can, if they get it, if they could smuggle it out early enough to kill my flip churn. That's the only time I've ever had an issue with it. But usually I don't worry too much about it because I just could kill a DJ. If I'm at 7 resources anyway, at 6 resources, I can still kill a DJ. So
or more accurately, just kill the tech too, so he doesn't bring it out at 5, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
No problem.
Yes, I haven't had an issue with that. I usually have the bigger issue if they get like a train where they can hit a spark, a Bodhi, and then a cunning. But if I'm playing against this, a lot of the times I'm using less events, so I'm not as worried about the Bodhi. Like I won't hold on to things. I'm like, if I'm playing this and I see it, I'm not going to hold on to something Bodhi's just going to get rid of. Like I resource it. I just do it. It is what it is, Yeah,
I mean, if it's a resupply, it's whatever, right? You might as well just put it down as a resource.
Yep, you just put it down now. You just say I'm not worried about the ramp, and I prioritize units over the other thing.
Yeah.
And usually once somebody sparks my hand and say I have one event or something like that, I just resource that event the hand. Like that's the auto resource for it.
Oh man, I was playing earlier today against like a green red Vader, and then he Viper Pro Droid me, and then immediately conceded. And he was just like, oh, it was like 8 resources, and I have like Vader unit, Relentless, and Devastator, plus a couple other things like Enterprising Lackeys and Salacious, and he's just like, yeah, you got this game.
All right, we're gonna move on to the yellow boba that came in third. Well, this one is definitely so we're gonna go through this deck because this one is definitely different than the yellow boba that you've been seeing, but it's not super different, right? So there's a few differences in here. This is definitely different than the one Bobby Sapphire posted, so that's kind of partially why I want to go through this. I do not like the 3 4-lom and only 1 Zuckuss call. I do not like that. I don't know why. I would go.
It's sideboarded, but yeah, I get it. Yeah.
No one wants to run more than 50 cards because they're cowards.
Like, they just run 2 and 2 and put both of them in the sideboard, right? Like, that's just me, I guess. I understand why you want the ambush. That's what this deck, it wants that stupid ambush. Therefore, that's why they got the 4-lom in there. But so this one is 3 Greedos, 2 Shoot First, 2 of the Hotshot Blasters, 3 No Good to Me Deads, 3 of the Crafties, 2 Probe Droids, 2 New Adventure, 2 Surprise Strike, which that one's a little befuddling to me, but I can understand, I guess, why. Then you have 3 of the Mercenary Gunships, and in this deck it works out very well because you can bounce and tap things. You have 3 Boba Fett's, 3 of the 7th Fleet Defenders, 2 Waylay. Then you have 2 Relentless Pursuits, which I think I like it because it's spicy. Just because I don't think you're doing it to just specifically capture a unit, but that's what this deck likes to do, is
Really
just slow you down.
Shield on Boba.
Yep. Which is great because then you have the shielded Boba and you have something you captured. I don't know. It's hilarious.
Triple L3 that you have in your deck rescues the captured unit that they Relentless Pursuit.
Yeah, that's fair. Which is fine. Well, then they don't get their shield. Anyway, 3 Toros, 3 Cunning, 3 4-loms, 2 Bosk, 3 Cantinas, 1 Zuckuss, and 3 of the Fire Sprays. And the sideboard is the Cartel Spacer, 2 Boba Fett Armors, 3 Bodhi, 2 of the Zuckuss. And I'm okay with the 3 Bodhis going sideboard. If you're not playing a heavy control, like against Sabine, I don't know. You don't need
do you appreciate disrespect 9-card sideboard? Because I do.
Yeah, I don't like
that third Waylay or that third Boss or the third Surprise Strike.
I bet you it's just a mistake. That's probably my assumption is what that is.
Well, I'm assuming probably you'd just do a third Waylay.
Yes, I would put a third Waylay in there,
or Surprise Strike,
or a third New Adventure. New Adventure can be very good with your Fire Spray. If it were me, to be spicy, I would put a Final Showdown in there. But that's just me. That would be my spicy take. Is I would put a Final Showdown in my sideboard because if I could figure
Legions.
No,
play it for 18.
No, not going to do that. So, like I said, this is a little bit different take. This is more of a little bit pushing that bounty hunter build. I like the mercenary gunship, especially in this build. You got the Waylays to pull it back. You got Cunnings to tap it, Cunnings to return things, and it goes back to your hand. So if they steal it, waste their 4 resources, you can play Cunning, get it back, and then do something else that's dirty. I mean, this is a tricky deck to say the least. The next one we have, I don't know. Do we need to go through this? This looks identical.
Triple Dark Raid Tarkin deck with 3 Vaders.
Yep. The only difference is it's got 3 Vaders in it, and it's got
double Veers and triple Tarkin.
2 sneak attacks, right? Like it's focusing a little heavier on keeping your units on the board. The Veers is a very good pull for the Vader. Vader loves to pull that Lurking TIE Phantom or that Veers out. He loves that. So yeah, I don't think there's nothing super fancy about this deck that we haven't gone over. We have a how-to video if you want to watch. I did a deck tech on this because this is actually one of my favorite budget ones. Vader obviously is not in the budget one, but yeah. So all right, that was all the lists that we had access to for day 1. Day 2, Friday, we had Kira. This is Woo. If you don't know who Woo's channel is, go check out Woo's channel. They do some awesome stuff on their channel. He does like a million deck techs. Like, I don't even know how, like, he just must do deck techs every night and then just wait to drop them. Like, he has a million deck techs available. But here you have again. Here's your Krennic green, JJ, coming in again.
Kira green.
No, yeah, you have Kira green and then Krennic green. But he was super excited about his Krennic green. Here you have a second showing of Krennic green. Is it the same guy? I wonder if it's the same guy.
Possibly.
Nope, different guy.
Yep.
Yellow Han still hitting the top up there. Bobby Cosplay, the Boba Yellow hitting up there. A second Krennic green. Another Sabine ECL. Here's your yellow Palpatine, and that guy had his list private, so I could not look at it. I really wanted to go through that list tonight, but we could not. And then here's our buddy George with Hondo Blue, baby. Hondo Blue. I'm going to be very excited to go through that deck here in a few minutes. We had a showing of Kylo Yellow. I'm happy to finally see Kylo make the table somewhere. There's Andrew Cox coming in 13, if you know him from X-Wing. More Boba Yellow, another Boba showing, a Boba Green. There's our Bosk ECL. That was fun to watch. Kira Red, Boba Yellow, and then we had one showing of a Cad Yellow and one showing of a Vader Green. So who wants to go over the Kira Green?
I'll do the Kira Green for her. It's up to you, JJ. If you're real gung-ho about it.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay. So I've actually played against a couple similar ones of this. But for this Kira deck, you got triple of the High Loon Enforcers. Those are the grit 1/4s for ones with the bounty. You got triple Inferno 4, triple Pike Sentinel, triple Power of the Dark Side, double Make an Opening, triple Resupply, triple Death Troopers. Which is, pretty nice finisher for Kiras. Like, I feel like you don't play them too early. You just want to, when you release Kira, just drop them. You got double the Client, triple Super Laser Tech, double the Black Sun Kiraxes, double Vigilance, only one takedown, double Lam Pike, which is hilarious in a Kira deck, by the way, double Fell the Dragon, double Gideon, triple Overwhelming Barrage, triple Vader, one Maul, one Super Laser Blast, double Snoke, double Avenger, one Relentless, and one Devastator. Because you just run all the Star Destroyers, I guess.
The reason behind it is your end game just becomes has a little bit more depth. That's all.
Yeah. No, I can respect it. I just run more Relentless. You probably don't need the Devastator, honestly, when you have an Avenger and Relentless and Snoke, but
yeah,
I love these Devastators. In the side, he's got triple top target for more healing, the third copy of Vigilance, one Rook, presumably to ECL out against a Great Dragon. Double Palpatine's Return, a second Super Laser Blast, a second Relentless, and a second Devastator.
Yeah, so this is kind of similar-ish to the one I'm running. I actually only run 2 Vaders so that I can have Maul, because I like Maul better. I don't care what people say. I think Maul's my favorite. And then I am also only running 1 Super Laser Blast because in this deck, for the most part, you don't want a Super Laser Blast. It's like a in case shit happens type thing.
Wouldn't that make more sense just to put them in the sideboard then, if it's just like an in case thing?
Yeah, yes, but it comes in handy in the main deck once in a while. So how about this? I have used it 1 every 4 games. So, and usually it's against like another control deck that's like a higher in mid range, early, like not like a soft control type thing. So those 2 it really helps with. But the making openings are in there because those stupid Tarkin decks. That's why those are the Black One Suns. Like, that's what they're there for. Like, really, I don't think we need Make an Opening or the Black Sun Starfighter. I actually don't like this Black Sun, and I actually run 3 of the Starfighters, the 3 yeah, Starvipers, because you can ECL those out. Like, here's a tip: you play a Sabine that puts an A-wing down round 1, and you got one of those in your hand. You just claim, and you don't put anything else down, and you just ECL it out and take out their A-wing, and you've killed 2 Sabine churns
and healed 2.
If they they haven't done any damage because it's only round 1.
Well, like a Sabine.
Okay, fair enough. Yep. So if they Sabine, then you get the other.
Yeah, because they're
other
going
one.
to Sabine if you immediately claim initiative, right? There's no reason for them not to.
Sure, fair enough. Then you can heal your 1 damage back. That's fair. Yep.
Got them.
I feel that my sideboard has 2 rooks in it for the specific fact of what you said, like ECLing that out into Crate Dragons or I don't know, sometimes even
double
Pose.
Velvet Dragon, so like I'm not sure how many you have in your deck, but that like also
0
takes care of the dragon. Well, that'd be why.
I have them in my sideboard. I have a couple in my sideboard.
It's interesting that they don't have a Rivals Fall. I mean, your 6 slot is just Vigilance, right? So I don't know. It's kind of interesting that they at least have like 2 or something in the sideboard.
Yeah.
Just in case they go up against. I mean, I guess Kira usually is pretty good about taking out all the leaders, so you might not need it.
Yeah.
But it's more of like ooh, I messed up and this thing's way out of control. Oh god, here's the Rivals Ball kind of thing.
Yeah, and I run 2 of those instead of the Fel Dragons. That's what I run. That's the difference in like mine is I like the Rivals Fall over the Fel the Dragon.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
And I like more Maul.
Have you played against Kira Green with Mono Palpatine?
Yes, and it does not usually go well for Kira. So
I was gonna say, have you ever felt any sort of resistance from Kira? Because I have not. It's more just like, oh, I just roll them. That's not even close. Thanks for self-damaging your guy so I can steal it with Palpatine.
Yeah, no. Like, the only thing that I've ever found that ever like had given me any sort of an issue is usually Snoke. But if you are silly and I could just put a damage on Snoke and I steal Snoke, you regret that immediately as a Kira player. So
100% lose.
You can't give me your Snoke. Like that's like an immediate, like you cannot give that to me.
Or the Avenger.
Or the Avenger, yeah. Though the Avenger, I'll just drop a Devastator with Green Pelt. By the time they're playing Adventure, I could just drop Devastator. I don't even care about the Avenger. I just drop a Devastator and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. You want to spend another 9 to bring another Avenger out? Like go ahead. I guess like that's 2 turns in a row. But no, I think in a control world, Palpatine does better at that than
rolls the stack.
Yeah, but Palpatine struggles more to aggro, and this does not struggle to aggro in the same way Palpatine does, though. Right. So, all right, let's move on to our other one, our Bobby Cole. I don't know how to say his last name. Bobby Cole. There you go. I did not create this deck. Bobby created this deck. I just put it in a deck format because he just had it listed out. JJ, you want to go over it real quick? It's almost identical to the other one. Actually, is it identical to the other one?
It is almost identical. It's got 2 more Zuckuses.
Yeah.
And they took out the TIE Phantoms.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it. Yep.
Okay, so we don't really need to go over it.
Surprise strike.
Yeah. They have a 3rd surprise strike and reduce their shoot first and have 1 more of the blasters.
And no Bazines inside.
I don't understand why nobody's running Bazine. Bazine's so good in these decks, but that's fine. So I guess we don't probably have to go over it. They have 1 extra waylay and their change of heart is in their sideboard.
I mean, there's like certain sideboard changes. They have double Zuckus. They reduced a Boba Fett unit. It's essentially the same thing. It's close enough. They don't have the Relentless Pursuit. They only have 1 inside. They don't have the Boba Fett armors inside, but whatever. Tanner, I know you want to do this Hondo deck, though.
I do. I'll give it to JJ if he wants it. If not, I'm doing the Hondo deck.
I'm going to do the Hondo deck, definitely, because I like this one a lot. So we got A Pirate's Life for Me by George the Hulk here. So he's coming in with 2 copies of Top Target, 3 copies of Covert Stratagem, which is
Strength.
really good. Strength, yeah. Sorry. Timely Intervention, got 3 copies of it. Got 3 copies of Inferno 4, 3 copies of Pike Sentinel, really cheap Sentinel unit for 2 costs there. We got 2 collectors Starfighter, Starhopper. Sorry,
the only thing you'll ever use them for is in this particular kind of deck.
Exactly. We got 2 copies of Ruthless Assassin, 3 Power of the Dark Sides, 2 Making Openings, 3 The Clients, 3 copies of Lieutenant Shilton, 2 copies of Vigilance, 2 copies of Takedown, 3 copies of Lawn Pike, 2 copies of Overwhelming Barrage, 2 Super Commando squads, got 2 Vigilant Pursuit Crafts, 1 First Light, 3 copies of Maul, which is really good, 1 Super Laser Blast, and to top it off, 2 copies of Supreme Leader Snoke. Then in the sideboard, we have an extra copy of Vigilance, 2 Felder Dragons, an additional copy of Overwhelming Barrage, 2 Rivals Falls, and then another 2 copies of Super Laser Blast, and then finally 2 copies of Avenger in the sideboard there. Definitely quite a lot of easy, cheap units to help you delay the game later on, and then you can just finish off the game with Snoke and Maul to come in there to just completely wipe the board there, especially with Overwhelming Barrages in play. You got enough high attack units there that can help you wipe the board and then deal pretty good amount of damage out to your leaders there. In this deck, you're not really going too much for you're not really going too much with aggro with this. You're just controlling and just delaying as much as you can. If you're able to get those bounties on from the client and from top target, you can really buff your units pretty well to outlast your opponent. So yeah, definitely a really good decent deck for for Hondo here.
If you go back and watch, so people don't know what Hondo does. And the reason why, and this is, I know we gave this guy a D, and I told you that I'm waiting for somebody to make this deck good, right? And originally I argued that this deck belongs in blue, and I have a version of this in green, and it's not as good as this. I'll tell you that right now. This deck is super insane because Hondo is just like Boba. It's just an automatic trigger. You're not doing a whole action for it. So he's not a delayed thing. And Hondo himself, right, is a 3/7. So he's got 7 freaking health when he comes out.
And he's got raid 1.
And he's got raid 1. Yep. And if he stays out, if you do not kill Hondo when Hondo comes out, Hondo just gives all sorts of crazy stuff. I watched George pull 2 things out of his smuggle while Hondo was out. You want to talk about like a crazy turn? Like, oh, here you go. Merry Christmas, right? And it's not that unit that you smuggle out that has to get the experience token. So you could choose. I actually would argue with him that he should put more First Lights in here, but that's a different conversation.
I would at least put 1 more in there. And I also have like a Hondo blue deck because I was just messing around with it, and it has 2 First Lights and stuff.
So
I don't have the Ruthless Assassin, but I understand why he does. He's got the timely interventions that he could swing in for 4 with them. Yeah, if he smuggles it and gives an experience with a Hondo.
Yes, it is dirty, and he does the damage to himself. I watched him do it, and he gave like the token to another unit because he didn't need it, and he just swung in, put the 2 damage on himself, killed the other unit, and the guy was like, well, were you gonna do the 2 damage? So he's like, I did it to this unit. And he was like, oh, it's hilarious. You go back to the stream and watch it. Like it's funny. It's good. I never thought of that either, to be honest with you. That's a good
I don't
call.
like it. I don't think it's great. I understand why he does it. I just wouldn't put that in there.
Yeah. The timelies were used a lot with the lawn pikes. That was a thing. Sometimes the Chilsons was a really good one. I literally watched them put Chilsons down. And if you waylay a Chilson, you can't waylay a Chilson. That's just the death of it.
Why?
So, well, because you waylay it, if you can't kill them, they're putting it back down. Sometimes the same churn, sometimes not.
Okay. I mean, I spent 3 to remove a Sentinel from the board.
I got.
Like,
that could
I
be
don't
possibly
see like
very
it's a bad play.
So question:
they don't have the resources to put them down.
Question on interaction, just because I personally haven't used it as of yet in that manner. So if you smuggle a timely intervention, does the card that you play get the effect from Hondo, or does the card that you actually play have to be a smuggle? Like you have to actually smuggle?
No, it works as a smuggle card.
Yeah, whenever Hondo smuggles, he gives out an experience. So if you smuggle timely intervention, you can trigger Hondo to put that experience on whatever you want, and then trigger the ambush for timely intervention.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So essentially,
Okay, that's really
what
good.
Hondo's doing is telling you to pay your extra fee for whatever the smuggle cost is, and somebody gets a free resource or a
Experience.
free experience token. That's what
pretty
that's
good.
saying.
Yeah.
And it's not specific to anything. Like, so it doesn't have to go. It's not like a Ray where you have to have it on a 3 or less. Like, in my opinion, this like Ray's easier to play, but Hondo has like a higher threshold than Ray does. With the experience tokens you can grant out are just insane.
I mean, you have to pay extra for it, so if you're behind, you're losing tempo. Like, if you get out ahead of a Hondo deck, he's relying on his Child Sin and like the super commandos to like kind of back it up, like to stop it.
Yep. Timely intervention, Lom Pikes is like, it's not as good as like a Rook in this one, and I would wonder if maybe a Rook would be a good sideboard card as well. I don't know. So I love this deck though. I am excited. I almost bought a Hondo Showcase this weekend for $150. My son told me. My son told me
it's going to go up like crazy.
Yeah, my son said, "Stop doing that. Stop buying. You have no reason to buy a Showcase, Chris." I was like, so we're not going to go over this deck. I'm just putting these in here to kind of highlight. So we had a Kylo Jeddah City deck that made 11th place. I think this is a really cool deck. Maybe next week we'll come back and kind of look at it. I want to make sure we get to day 3 here. I like this deck a lot, but this is a very Kichi deck, and like you either live or you die by this deck. Like, it just.
Well, I mean, that's like all Kylo decks.
Yeah, like
your opponent hit 6 resources, I lose this game now.
Yep. So I like it. Congratulations to whoever played it. And did it. Here is the Boba Green deck. Again, we're not going to cover this. This will come back up in a few minutes.
Late game.
Yeah, this is
Boba deck, which is cool.
This is that transition that we're seeing where it says, hey, let's not play early meta stuff as much as let's control and then swing in. This guy named his Papa Vader. So I think great Vader Green is slept on a little bit. They put the Salacious Crumbs. I was a little. I didn't understand 100% why those are in there, but I guess it's just kind of adds to your turn 1 drops. This timely intervention is super good.
It's huge. I mean, you also heal from it, which is really nice because you don't generally get that until you hit the reinforcement walkers. So
true.
And you're just pinging out an extra damage, which also will trigger Vader. Like, it's a really easy 1-drop to trigger Vader, and especially because you could like play it, like you pop him back up and then play it again. So you're always kind of have, as long as Salacious Crumb's on the board, you always have a Vader trigger.
Yeah. Other than that, this is, essentially kind of similar to the Vader we saw before. Crate Dragon's a new addition, obviously. I think if you get to that turn, I mean, like, they have Crate Dragon and Devastator. I don't know. If you get to that turn, I think they've won the game. So
yeah, exactly.
The one notable side, he has that veteran in there that takes people. I think that's kind of hilarious, and I think that's funny. That it could just steal a ground unit. So you could throw that in there. It could steal a ground unit before Vader even comes out.
I don't really get the Emperor's Legions in the side.
I don't either. That's a question we'd have to ask.
If it's like Kira, they overall barrage and blow up your entire board, you get it back. I don't quite understand their logic of putting that in there.
Yeah, I don't know what that's there for unless you need it to retrieve something that you lost. I don't know. I don't either. So I was a little confused why that was in the sideboard too, but I don't know. All right, moving on to Saturday. Bobby Colgrove, Boba Yellow, took it down 7-0. There you go, 6-1 and then 7-0. More Yellow Boba, that Boba Green deck coming back here. This is where we get our first taste of somebody giving me a Han Blue deck that we can actually look at. Mike Gem, the Hyperloops guy, switched into Kira Green. There you go. So left the Boba Yellow and ran to Kira Green for the 3rd day, which is, it's funny because Matty Gem, his brother, was also running Kira Green. So We have some more Han yellows. We got an Iden showing. That's kind of cool. Another Tarkin yellow showing.
Look at number 14.
Yep, number 14 is Chris Allen, which is hilarious because it's a Han Blue, and he in his thing. By the way, we put it in there. He credits Wu because Wu. So a couple weeks ago, when they released or were trying to get people to release the Han Blue list from the Baltimore thing, and the guy was like, "No, I'm going to save this till Gen Con," and didn't want to release it. Wu went and made one. Like he went and made a Han Blue. He's like, "Fine, I'm just going to go make one for people. Then I don't know what you played, but I'm going to make one." And Chris Allen took Wu's list. I'm pretty sure it's almost identical to what Wu's list was, and he took that and ran with it. So yeah, shout out to Chris Allen. He was the guy that did all the judging for X-Wing since I remember, at almost all the major events that I went to. So and it was funny, he did judge, just so you know, he did judge X-Wing this weekend. He did judge X-Wing, or he did X-Wing this weekend. He judged it and then came and played on Saturday. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
We also have somebody named Elliot Lusk with a Palpatine Red. There is a possibility we might have a person or two joining the show to talk Palpatine Red in a week or two. So just as an FYI, we may have just a whole show dedicated to Palpatine Red.
Lowest rated episode ever.
I don't know, man. Look at it. It's 5-2. Come on, baby. You and I had some good success with it. So we don't need to go over this deck because we just saw this deck. But here's the Boba yellow deck. It's literally the exact same thing. He did not make a change between the 2 days for it. Second place is another yellow Boba deck, which looks like the first yellow Boba deck, except for this one has the Ruthless Assassin in it, and this one has 3 copies of Bazine, which is the correct amount of Bazines you need in a
and
deck.
3 Relentless Pursuit and double Boba's armor. So it's actually like it plays a lot different.
Yeah.
And a copy of the Bounty Hunter crew to get back in an event. Probably your Cunning or possibly a Waylay, No Good to Be Dead. This is much more like
a Boba armor.
Yeah. Well, it's the Boba armor's on an event, so you can't take it back up. But it's got the Bounty Guild initiative in there, and that's interesting. It's a bounty hunter deck, and not necessarily like an underworld Boba kind of thing. It's just straight up bounty hunters, which is really cool.
Well, you to some extent, just so you know why that's in there. Like part of the reason is if you pair that, because Greedo's a bounty hunter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can turn 1 play a Greedo, let them play whatever they want, and then you can play a bounty hunter guild initiative and kill or put 2 damage on whatever they have. Like just so you know, like that it's dirty. Like I've actually seen. This is funny. I saw it took 3 of their cards, but they had a Greedo, a hotshot, and a bounty hunter initiative. They played it, killed something with their bounty hunter drop, re-ready their resource with Boba, and then play that stupid hotshot blaster on their bounty hunter. And so then it became a 3-2 for turn 2. It was disgusting.
That is disgusting. Jeez.
No cards in hand for the most part, right? But it was a hilarious turn 1 play. So
it's just double bounty and guild initiative too, right? Like I've had that happen to me in pre-release, and I'm just like, oh, that's kind of frustrating. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, when I wear in my Twin Suns deck, and we should do more Twin Suns stuff. I really like Twin Suns. Actually, I've decided. But I had Bosk and Jabba, and one of the games I had a Dengar and a bounty, the bounty initiative, right? And so you could just play both of them turn 1 as well and kill something. It pisses people off. So here is the Boba Green deck that came with it. So I don't know, Alex, you want to go through this deck real quick? This one we probably should actually go through because it made top 3. So
yeah, so it's another kind of late game Boba deck here. You got the 30 health. It's not ECL. You have triple Salacious Crumb, triple Hotshot Blaster, double McClunky, triple Cartel Spacer, double Crafty Smuggler, triple Bazine, triple Boba Fett's armor, 1 jetpack, triple resupply, triple Boba Fett, triple 7th Fleet Defender, triple Waylay, triple Super Laser Attack, 1 Rook, which you're not ambushing out at all. Triple Overwhelming Brush, triple Bosk, triple Fire Spray, triple Vader, triple Maul, and 1 Reinforcement Walker. And the side, you have double Yularen, double No Good to Be Dead, 1 Palpatine's Return, 2 more Reinforcement Walkers, and double Devastator.
This is my
So it's-
Boba Green deck here. This is
Yeah,
this is what I
yeah.
would play.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
It's a ramp Boba that just has actual endgame cards, which is like a major problem with Boba Fett decks. By and large, they don't really have a great endgame. So if you actually manage to get to the endgame, usually you're pretty solid. This one, not so much. And a fair amount of ambush too, just between like the boss, the Vaders, the Mauls, and the double hotshot blasters.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is an
pretty
interesting
solid.
deck. I like this deck. This is my flavor of what I would
Boba
run.
Fett's armor is a pain
Yeah, I
to
hate
get
it.
through.
I hated it when we played Twin Suns. I hated it. Somebody drew one in our pre-release event, and I was like, oh my god, this is such a pain in the butt to get through.
I had to go against Green Boba with a Boba Fett armor and a jetpack in my pre-release.
No, did you
Yeah,
win?
I just played Rivals Fall. Yeah, just killed
Oh,
it.
okay. Oh, there you go.
Easy. Done.
All right, so here we have Frank Sinatra's. This is Solid or Soul Doc. I don't know what his real name is. Frank. I know he's been around quite a bit. This is his Han Blue deck. He's got 3 Force Throws, 2 R2D2s, 3 A-Wings, 3 Sabines, 3 Carabas, which I love. It's only for this deck, baby. Like somebody created a card for set 2 because like I don't know why you would run. I tried Carabas so many times and it just doesn't work as well as it does in this deck. Yeah, 3 Yodas, 2 Open Fire, 3 Cassians, 2 Techies, 3 Kanans, 1 Takedown, 3 K2s, 1 Fell the Dragon, 2 Pillage, 2 Poe, 2 Obies, 1 Rivals Fall, 3 Lukes, 2 Maces. Like this is the first we're seeing like Mace show up again. 2 Redemptions, 2 Chewies, and 2 Crate Dragons. So this is like I want to come to the end game here as fast as I can get to the end game without somehow ramping. So this has 2 making openings in the sideboard, 1 more open fire, 2 of the Sibylline Fang Fighters, 1 of the takedowns, 1 more Fell the Dragon, 2 of the Forced Surrender, I'm assuming for control decks, just to give you the middle finger so I can get rid of your cards.
Oh, yeah, I mean between like triple K2, double Poe, double Pillage, and double Force Surrender, you should probably be able to take out most of their hand and a Force Throw. You got triple Force Throw, so
Yeah.
hopefully at that point you can at least knock them down to 1 or 2 cards. If not, if they have anything at all.
Yeah. And then 1 Fell the Dragon. This is an interesting one. There's another one that we're going to talk about in a few minutes here. I like this version. This is kind of like, I don't know if I like the very low event suite because I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming their goal is to hit that pillage churn and have enough units on the board to continue to push damage and then just pillage them so they can't play anything. You just say, you're not going to play anything this churn. And it sets them back a whole churn, which then puts Han to be able to come out the next churn and have more units, and then just I don't know. That's my assumption. I could be wrong though. Chewbacca seems crazy in this deck, but so does Mace. I guess I don't know. Like, I guess Mace comes out as a 5/5 with 6 resources, so that's okay if they have a lot of small units. But that's it.
I mean you would prefer Luke, but Mace isn't too bad because you can at least probably kill something and still swing in that turn.
Yeah.
The Chewbacca's also really nice because he's a takedown body and you grit him up and you could also smuggle him because you're running red.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yep. I have a blue Han. That's like kind of similar. I don't have like the Carabasts. And it's more like my style, but yeah, it's try to play quality units turn earlier and hopefully they can't respond and then try to discard their hand. There's a lot of like red blue hero discard out there.
Yeah, and this is really good for your buddy Tech here. Tech.
Yeah.
They said Mace is in there because of all the yellow mono blue. Oh, mono boba. Okay, or mono yellow. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? Comes in at 5 HP. Yep. Can clean up a ground. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, I actually don't disagree with the mace, and like, it would be nice to actually be able to put mace on the table because I have, I don't know, like 50 maces it seems. So
Yeah, and honestly, on the sideboard, having the Disabling Fang Fighter, that is a card that I have in all my red decks, mainly because the ability to remove an opponent's upgrade and still have that space unit that can go in and attack on the end is really, really good. I mean, you could be taking out experiences, you could be taking out like Boba Fett's armors or Dark Sabers. It's such a handy utility card to have on the side in case your opponent ends up getting that really early on. So.
all right. We got Rebel Resource. He told us what he was bringing in advance. So Ryan told everybody he was bringing Sabine Yellow. He has a whole video. If you haven't seen his video, go check it out. JJ, you want to go through this? This is the first time we've seen Yellow Sabine do decent. Not that she can't do it. It's just this is the first time that it's kind of shown up. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got 1 copy of Spec Force Soldier, 1 Heroic Sacrifice, 1 Chopper, 3 R2D2s, 1 Heroic Resolves, 3 Cartel Turncoats, 3 Green Squadron A-Wings, 3 Sabine Wrens, 2 Leia Organas, 2 Bamboozles, 2 Alliance X-Wings, 3 Surprise Strikes, 3 Red 3s, 3 For a Cause I Believe in, 3 Millennium Falcons, 3 Fleet Lieutenants, 3 Wing Leaders, 2 Cassian Andors, 3 K2SOs, 2 Ozatucks, 2 Valiant Assault Ships, and lastly, 1 Millennium Falcon, the Lando's Millennium Falcon one there. And then for the sideboard here, we have 2 copies of Shoot First, 2 Lothal Sergeants, 2 Sparks of the Rebellion, 1 Sneak Attack, 1 Spare the Target, and lastly 2 Chewbacca's for this one here. It's actually really good. I actually like the mix of the different cards on here, being able to get in a good amount of Rebel units so that we can buff with like your Wing Leaders and then also send them in with Fleet Lieutenants is really good in a Sabine deck. Having that For a Cause I Believe in too is so good for this particular one, and Spark of Rebellion to mess with your opponent's hand early on. Really great. I like this deck a lot, actually.
I'm surprised that JJ loves the deck with 5 1-offs.
Yeah, why not, man? I love it, man. That's the one thing is like, you know, in your hand, right? The cards that you can easily put in there, but you have that one card that you want to play at a specific time. I mean, why not? I mean, I'm a big fan of having one-offs. Honestly, that's the way I like to build. So yeah.
So I have a question. Do you just like wager with your opponent that says, "Hey, I bet my For a Cause is always going to hit for 4 damage"? Like every time, and I guess unless you bring in the surprise strike or the sneak attacks, every card is a rebel card. Like, do you just be like, $5 says I hit 4 damage,
and I hope they just hit all 3 of their surprise strikes in a row and they only do 1?
Well, they aren't in the. Yeah, okay, fine. That's not going to happen, but
hilarious.
It would be hilarious. But outside of that, like that's like there's not a lot. Like there's not a lot in there, and like I don't know. I'm happy this Alliance X-Wing is getting less love. I hate that stupid freaking ship. I hate that ship so much. I refuse to run it. Period. I don't run it. This is a little bit more space heavy too, by the way, like compared to some of the other yellow Sabines we've seen.
Well, like that's kind of what's always been good about Sabine is that they run a lot of space units, and a lot of people aren't prepared for a lot of space units.
Yeah, those Ozatucks, so good. I love that Ozatuck.
Well, it's nice with the Valiant assault ships, right? Because you probably have less resources than your opponent because you don't need a resource that high, so you end up getting extra attack out of it.
Yep. I like it. I like this. I actually like this list quite a bit. This is something I would run, but minus some of these one-offs that I would not run. I would not do that.
JJ is going to run that deck for sure.
I would at least have 2 of those other Millennial Falcons if I.
The legendaries, he's good. Well, just the Millennium Falcons themselves.
Yeah. All right. This is the Green Sabine. We haven't covered a Green Sabine yet, have we?
No.
Alex, you want to run through this real quick? I think this is
Saber Sabine deck, which is pretty cool. It's got double Medal Ceremony, double Rebel Assault, 1 Spec Force, 1 Heroic Sacrifice, triple Timely Intervention, double Daring Raid, triple Battlefield Marine, triple A-Wing, triple Sabine, triple X-Wing, double Ketsu, triple Red 3, double For a Cause I Believe in. Interesting that it's not 3. triple Fleet Lieutenant, triple Wing Leader, triple Cassian, triple K2SO, triple Darksaber, triple Poe, and double Wrecker.
And this is the JJ-ish deck too, with the stupid
it's
one-offs.
solid.
Less
Darksaber
so,
Sabine
but
decks are kind of crazy. If you don't deal with it immediately, they kind of spiral out of control, and you have ECL and triple timely intervention for your Poes and your Wreckers, your K2s, and possibly even a Katsu if need be, or the Fleet Lieutenants.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of good stuff. I'm actually a little bit surprised they're still running Medal Ceremony. I thought that kind of fell out of favor. But
yeah.
Other than that, it's really good. I mean, you got a lot of attacks, right? You can Medal Ceremony whatever you ambushed in. So I get it.
Yeah, I think it's still relevant. Unfortunately, I you know what one I think should not be in there. I hate wing leaders, but people like their wing leader too. I hate that ship as well. But
I mean, he makes the bean a
it does.
4/7. Slap on the Darksaber. Ooh. And then Rivals Fall. Easy. Done. Don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but I'd say by the time they're able to do both of those with Sabine, I have my Rivals Fall out or a Fell the Dragon at that point. You know,
well, you can't follow Dragon Leaders.
Oh, that's right. You can't. Ugh,
yeah, just Rivals.
That's a solid deck. I like this kind of style. There's I would say local, but it's like out in Howell, so that's not really local to me. They're running more of a Mandalorian Sabine green with like the Outcast soldiers and the Sundari Peacekeepers and stuff with like dark sabers, and that seemed really cool.
Yeah, that's definitely a different twist. I don't know if we see that. We have one more Sabine coming up. So here's that Han deck again. We're not going to go through this one. I don't see very much different. They do have these Rebel, I don't know what they're called, Rebel something or others, the Saboteur with Raid on them. I think that's the big difference in this one. Is that
it's got Grogu in the side too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
we saw that with another one. This is also Rebel focus. You got the triple wing leader, which works well with like the rogue operatives, and Bodhi is also a rebel.
Yeah.
In addition to being Imperial, so it's cool that you can like kind of pump them up in a yellow Han deck.
Yeah, especially with that Fleet Lieutenant. So you Bodhi, get rid of their removal. Say you better take them down. Fleet Lieutenant next turn.
So I know that this deck concentrates on a lot of low cost ships there, but would you guys ever consider running like U-wing reinforcements as a sideboard?
In the yellow mono Han? No, that costs 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, so but it's
green Han 100%. All max out at 3 of them. Yellow Han not so much.
Okay.
This one's a little weird. There's only two Han units in here. I don't like that.
It's a very early game focus. This is much more aggro than it is like mid range.
Yeah, for sure.
So here's the next Han Blue one. This is a little bit different of a deck. This is like a little bit more of a space focused deck, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It does have the same end suite, and I don't know. This is like these weird.
I would run.
This is more weird one-off type things. We got one Rivals Fall and one Fell the Dragon, and one Wrecker. And I like Wrecker. I think Wrecker's really good. But then it's got one Fang Fighter in here too.
The disabling Fang.
Yeah. Is there a second Fang Fighter that I don't know
about?
Got
the Concord Dawn Interceptors. It's got 2 of those.
But they're not Fang. They don't call them Fang Fighters, so I don't want to.
Okay, bad.
They're not Fang Fighters. They're not.
They're Fangs to me. Damn it.
They're Interceptors, not Fang Fighters. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. Is this deck worth going through? It is a little bit different. It's not focused on the pillage aspect. The discard your cards.
Run through it real quick if you want.
That's fine. It is a little bit different. This one's a little bit more unique, and this is more up my alley as well, play style wise.
You got triple force throw, double arc, triple A-wing, triple Sabine, triple Yoda, double open fire. A lot of people aren't running open fires anymore. Double Concord Dawn Interceptors, triple Cassian, 1 disabling Fang Fighter, double Tech, triple Kanan, double Takedown, triple K2SO, 1 Fell the Dragon, triple Poe, triple Obi, 1 Rivals Fall, 1 Wrecker, triple Luke, double Redemption, double Chewie, and double Crate Dragon. In the side, you got double Confiscate, another Tack, 2 Vigilance, which is wild to me. One more
Yeah.
takedown, one more fell the dragon, and then triple pillage. So if they're going against hard control, you can actually just start doing all the discard shenanigans. I like pillage more in the side than I do main decking for blue Hans.
Yeah,
Makes
it's
sense.
definitely something you just bring in just based on your opponent's leader that you see, and then you can just decide to add it in later on. Yeah, I totally agree. It's much better as a sideboard piece than just the main deck.
So here's another green Sabine. This one's a little bit more normal.
It's still Dark Saber.
It's still a Dark
No.
Saber build. This one has 3 wreckers in it, though. So
Straight to jail, no one-offs. Sorry, no.
that's why. That's why it's better. It's only got 2 timelies though. So, and I guess I've been actually running 2 instead of 3 lately when I have to cut cards down. In ECL decks, sorry. In ECL decks, I'm running less timelies.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I understand, like, not having to run 3 timely if you have an ECL. It's just really nice when you have Poes and Wreckers and K2s.
Yeah. And logically, your timely should be in your whatchamacallit, in your resource pile anyway. So, I don't know. I like this one too. We're not gonna go. I'm not gonna go through this list either. But it's very similar. You could kind of come back to this if you want.
Super rare sighting of Rebel Pathfinder, though. Double Rebel
Yeah.
Pathfinder.
That's like throwback to season 1, baby.
Heck yeah.
Early season 1.
Yeah. So here is Chris Allen's list. This is the last one that we have.
Gotta go over it. It's Chris Allen.
Yeah. So JJ, we'll give you. We're gonna give JJ the honors. JJ, what's the last list, baby?
So we got a blue Han.
Hold on. Should we not give you the honors because there's no one-offs in here?
There's one off.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there's a one-off. Yeah, I was going to say, dude. So we got 3 copies of Force Throw, 3 Green Squadron A-Wings, 3 Sabine Wrens, 3 Yodas, 3 Open Fires, 2 Concord Dawn Interceptors, 3 Cassian Andors, 2 Kanan Jarruses, 2 copies of The Force Is With Me, 3 K2SOs, 1 Fell the Dragon, 3 Pillages, 3 Rays, 3 Poe Damerons, 3 Obi-Wan Kenobis, 3 Wreckers, 3 Luke Skywalkers, 2 Redemptions, and 2 Great Dragons. And then in the sideboard here, we got 2 the heck is
Make an opening.
Make an opening. Thank you. 3 copies of Tech, 2 copies of Vigilance, 2 Takedowns, and 1 Fell the Dragon to round off the list there. I definitely like the sideboards a lot. That gives you just the flexibility to add in some of those immediate kill cards in case your game drags out longer, and they have some of the bigger Star Destroyer cards that can really mess up your side of the board that you're trying to control there. That it really helps just temper the other side with those quick kill cards on there. Overall, this is a really solid list, a really solid force list on top of that too. Just having those force units available to really take advantage of like force throw.
So this is almost exactly my Blue Han list. I don't have triple pillage main deck. I more have just I also don't have Fell the Dragon. I have like double Rivals Fall, double Takedown. And the double Forces With Me is actually just 2 arcs because some form of healing in there other than Yoda is actually really disgusting.
Yeah.
But
I like
it's
this
a
list
solid
as
deck.
well. Yeah, this I like this. I like it the fact that we have Ray all of a sudden in here too. Ray is very good in a Han deck. We'll just put it that way. So
She can do some work. I mean, you're not really using it. You don't get shields out of it unless you give it to a Great Dragon.
yeah,
Which is kind of funny. But it's just mostly the 2 damage you're healing and just keeping things around longer is huge.
yeah, like being able to take it off Obi sometimes. Like you put Ray out. Next turn, I'm putting an Obi out. You better go ahead, attack Obi. I'm just going to heal and then let you attack Obi again. So, Merry Christmas.
Oh, by the way, this is also a turn early, so I bring it out Han.
Yep. It's very dirty. Ray being a 4/7 that comes out on 4 for Han is so good, actually. Again, it's exciting. I finally have 3 Rays, so I can actually run this deck. This is the deck. This is what I want to try to get my nephew to run. He's where you have a Han Blue Wookiee deck that we've been playing around with, but this is what I really think he should be running. So, all right, we're not.
Chewbacca is a little bit rough, but it is kind of win more.
It's what this is. Yeah. We're not going to go through the statistics. As you can see, the Keith, I believe his name is Keith. Kyle. His name is Kyle. Kyle, thank you, Kyle, for putting these together. This is kind of the meta breakdown. It'll tell you the number of players. It's going to tell you how many times each one hit top 8. So it's a little bit more concise. Whereas we were looking at anything up to top 25. But as you can see, Boba Yellow and Sabine Green are still on the top. So I don't know. That's what you should be looking out for when you go to your next tournaments. So, is there anything else that you guys found surprising about Gen Con at all? Anything else that like comes to mind that you're like, oh my gosh, hey, look at this. There's something that's crazy, that stands out to you.
No, I mean it's interesting because it's like the first like huge tournament to see what kind of shapes up. People are still on their Bulbas and their Sabines. Like had a lot of practice. They're incredible leaders. It's nice kind of seeing some other random decks, and it's nice to see like different colors of the same leaders. I always find that really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and honestly, when you take a look at the set 2 cards, they really serve to enhance a lot of the set 1 leaders that are currently in existence. I mean, you still see Boba and Sabine being in the top is because they got new toys, but better toys that they can use to really be effective, and that's why they're still on top right now. It's still pretty early, and some of these newer leaders do have great abilities that will just take time for people to find the right combination and the right matchups in order for them to come out on top. It's exciting to see some newer faces come up in these major tournaments in terms of leaders. So,
yeah. And I think the big thing is now that we've had the big meta breakdown. So for me, like the big thing is understanding here's where the meta is kind of shaking out. I think Boss Green was kind of a surprise. I think Boss Green you can kind of tech a little bit against, and it's not going to be something that is always going to be prevalent. But at the same token, it plays very well into some of these aggro type decks, and so we have that aspect of it. Obviously, Han 1 Yellow coming out strong again is with a very good showing again, makes it a lot better. And I think what has to happen is if you're going to a planetary qualifier, you're going to see Sabines Greens and Bulba Yellows. So the idea is what can you create that competes with some of these decks that also makes you viable against the rest of the meta? And I think that's where we want to go, right? Like that's where, as a community, that's where you want to see, is because to me this feels pretty healthy for the most part. This early meta seems pretty healthy. I will say it's still a little sad seeing Sabine Green and Bulba Yellow, but you got to have some staples, right? It's okay. Like we can't have a complete meta shakeup where they never exist. I think you're going to start seeing Vaders show back up. I think that's what's going to happen. Is some Vaders are being gatekeeped a little bit by some of the control decks, and now that control decks are slowly, at least not by Alex, everywhere else. Yet. Yeah, they're not there. So I think we're going to see Vader Green start cropping up in the next month, maybe even 2 months, if we can't get some control decks coming out. And I think that's the idea: is if your deck can beat Boba Yellow and Sabine Green, you're now into that caveat of what else can it be? Does it play well with the rest of the meta? And that's the exciting part. Is my prediction personally is that we're going to see more of the Kira Green and more Luke Green. I think we're going to see a resurgence of Luke. I think we're going to see a resurgence of Vader. I think Luke still gets better, especially into some of this aggro ambush meta than we're giving Luke credit for. But we'll see. You never know. I'd love to see somebody come up with an Afro deck that tops. So if you're going to like a bigger tournament and you got an Afro deck, send me a message. Like, I'll have you on the bloody show, for Christ's sake, Quick shout out to Sherman. Sherman is the best X-Wing player in the group of the 3 of us. There you go. So 4 of us. There you go, Sherman.
Was an excellent teammate when I was with him in NCX. There you go.
So. Well, all right. I think we're going to wrap it up. I apologize for any of the delays for this week. Happy that we were able to get through a lot. Some crazy predictions. So coming up this week, you will see I have another deck tech video. We're going to have on somebody to talk about Pelp Red with us in a week or 2. So just as an FYI, that's going to happen. I 100% want to cover Pelp Red and talk through it. I have his deck list. I'm not going to share it until we do the episode because he hasn't publicly shared it, but he has shared it with me. So when we do the episode with him, we'll talk through it, go through it, and then we could we're going to talk about it because Alex and I have both played Pelp Red a lot. And I really want Pelp Red to be top of the meta. I want it to just like get rid of all this Boba Yellow, Sabine Green garbage. So that would be nice, right? That would be nice. Yep. So anyway, thank you all for joining us. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the Flippity Flop.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.